All right, so it says we're live. So welcome back, everybody. It's November the 17th. It sounds weird saying that every week. This year's almost gone. Feels like we just started it, and it's at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you're watching this back later, by all means, leave a comment and we will respond to you. So I see we already got a few people on. But yeah, looking a little light tonight, as Larry just said. Now, that's the way it goes sometimes. There may be some football games or other stuff going on, and people just have stuff they got to get to. Some of our usuals I see have already done piped in and said they couldn't make it tonight. So it's like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's a busy night for everybody probably,
Yeah,
so
who
that's all
knows?
right.
Sometimes you'll have a few hundred on, and sometimes we'll just have 100 something. But more and more people start kicking on now that they're getting the notification that we just started a live stream. Okay, so let's go through and start grabbing some questions. So Dino, all the way over in Tokyo, every week's got to know about how those chickens are doing.
Chickens are doing good. They're loving their playpen every day. Same thing.
Yep.
They're doing good.
How are
Yeah.
we on eggs? I haven't asked you in a while.
So actually, we started increasing just a little bit this week. We're now up to 3 a day.
Okay.
So it's doing a little bit better. Yeah.
We went through the chickens
Probably
molting and
the yeah.
having some other issues, and the eggs got down real low, but that's kind of the way it does. It cycles
Maybe
through
because
like
it
that.
warmed up too. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to get a couple more days of warm weather. Ugh. And then we get all this rain coming through the front and what's left of that tropical storm, Sarah. And then we get like a bunch of days, highs in
I
the
hope
low
that's it.
60s.
I hope we are done with the heat
Yeah,
after that. Gosh.
it's looking really good.
Yeah.
Finally, we have to get almost to December, but a bunch of days like 61, 62 degrees, lows in the 40s. And next Saturday, it's so close to the 30s. Typically, we're always colder than they call for. We could hit the 30s next
Mm.
Saturday. So I need to get my butt in the tree stand. Well, tree stand, excuse me, my Taj Mahal deer blind, my Hilton. That's what I need to get in. All right, let's grab a couple more comments on here. Let us know if you're new and first time catching this. What we typically do is just come out here, hang out on the porch, answer your questions, talk about last week's videos, what's to come, do a little cooking, and kind of wrap this thing up around an hour.
And we
So,
are cooking tonight.
yeah, so go ahead and tell them that because I know 100 people is going to ask that.
Yeah, we are doing country fried steak with white gravy tonight.
Doesn't quite fit
Yeah.
which we're not on a diet anymore, are we?
What do you mean? It does.
Okay, well, that's right. You are going to make it she's going
Yeah,
to make it a very healthy way.
it's carnivore.
Yeah, typically when you make
Yeah.
this, yeah, it's deep fried, double battered, and really
Well,
bad for
I'm
you.
frying in tallow and I'm battering it with pork rinds.
Mhm.
And the gravy is going to be milk and garlic and butter. So, yeah,
All right.
we'll see how it goes.
Well, I don't think we're allowed to have the milk, but we're allowed to have cream. Uh-uh.
Heavy cream. It's heavy cream. I'm
Okay,
doing
see?
heavy cream.
All right, then we're keeping it somewhat carnivore with a
Yeah.
twist. All right, so Anna's jumping on from Lakeland, Florida. Know the area. I see Larry's on from Vegas, and you got Half Pint from Tallahassee, which is not far from us at all. So we got quite a few people starting to jump on here now. So there's your dinner update. Ask Robert. So y'all got that. And have we ate some of the deer yet? No, because I always bleed mine out a minimum of 5 days, anywhere from 5 to 7 days. So we got a bunch of rain rolling in the middle of the week. I think that's a good time for me to get in the processing room. That'll be about 5 days of bleeding it out. I do the ice bath method. It's worked great for me. Did it my entire life because I don't have a walk-in cooler. And I like to bleed it out, get the gaminess and blood
Oh,
out of
yeah.
it before we ever eat it. And then
Definitely
I'll
works
just
better that
do
way.
a few hours of processing and putting up. I think we've decided the majority of it, we're just going to grind in a burger. I've been saving some beef fat from the
Brisket.
briskets that we've been doing. So just for this, in case I got it here. So we'll grind that in, add some fat to it. And then I'm going to save about half the ground meat with no fat. We're going to make some jerky. That's going to be awesome. I haven't made none in a while. And then we'll save just a little bit of what we call fry meat. We'll run through the cuber and do some stuff like that. We do fry a couple times a year, but now we do it with beef tallow, which is really healthy. I hate frying in seed oils. Don't like frying really at all. But since we've discovered a way to fry in beef
I
fat,
know, but fried deer is so good.
it is. No,
Venison.
fried
Venison.
turkey is
Oh,
so
yeah,
good.
that is good
Oh
too.
my
Yeah.
goodness. But I haven't got a
Yeah,
turkey
you
yet.
got to get a turkey
I need to
next.
get one. I
For
need to get one.
sure.
I'll work on that. Actually, I need to go get in the stand this rainy day coming through because turkeys come out like crazy whenever it's raining. All right, let's go on down here and see what else we got. So Dustin talking about he went swimming again. That is crazy to even think about. All right, scrolling on down. 3 eggs a day won't keep you omelets very long, says Larry.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
true. We've been buying cases every now and then whenever we go to Costco just to help supplement. Now, earlier this year when they was giving us 7 a day, that was perfect. But we've been eating a ton of eggs since we've been on this diet. So yeah, we've been outpacing our chickens, that's for sure. So Robert says, can't wait to see the hunting video on the outdoor channel. So Robert, I did capture the actual hunt, and I've got some good footage of other bucks and deer and all that stuff. But that buck come out right at dark. It's grainy footage, but you can still see it. It won't be a whole hunting video. What I'm probably going to do is show the processing, how I put it up, the vacuum sealing, all that good stuff. And then I'll start the video out with the hunting. And we'll put this on our outdoor channel since that channel is geared more for that type of content. Some people here don't want to see that. And then I'll show how I take it out of the cooler, how I do my ice bath, how I bleed it out. There's only a little bit of debone. I guess we'll show that. And then all the grinding and processing. That should make one decent video for the people that are curious about it. And that'll be out later this week. So Jay says, what time do you want me over for dinner? You've got about 45 minutes to make it, Jay. Deep fried and double battered sounds delicious. Oh, Larry, I'm telling you, if there's one thing I know how to make pretty good, it's a double battered, deep fried wild turkey breast. And I make my own white gravy, a garlic gravy with it. Yeah. But I make it the very unhealthy way. But I haven't did that in a long time. If I do get some,
I'm craving it.
I know if I do get some turkey breast, we're probably going to use actual flour and do it that way.
We're going to have to.
Just to,
yeah. We're going to have to.
Turkey breast so special. Let's just go ahead and make it the really good artery clogging way right there. Pam says, howdy y'all. It's been a long but awesome week. Well, I'm glad you had an awesome week. And Chris wants to know about Tiffany's sewing room. It is a work in progress, we'll say.
Yeah, progress.
Way too much other stuff going on. All right, Dino, football. Australia beat Wales in rugby. I have no idea about that, but I'm happy your Australia got it. Rugby, yeah, that's kind of the rough and tough, bouncing around type of football. You know, there's so many different terms for football, from soccer to the rugby to our craziness over here in the States. Half pint says beef tallow the way to go. It is. It's expensive, but it's so much more healthy for you than seed oils, without a doubt. So are we going to get several videos out of the deer? No, just one. We'll combine it all right there. And then I'm going to continue to hunt. And if we get another deer, we'll do some of that again. And then if we've undiscussed, if we get another deer, then we're probably going to be doing some sausage. Yeah. We don't want to get too crazy on the burger and all, because we do buy part of a cow every year. But I mean, burger, you can use burger for so many different meals, anywhere from breakfast to just hamburgers to tacos to whatever you want to eat, you know. Yeah, everybody's asking about the hunting videos. Yeah, end of the week. So Larry says, you modified me to get on a modified carnivore diet. I've been eating a ton of steaks and augmenting that with loads of eggs. I'm telling you, you'll feel better. Now, if you get on I don't know what your modified means, obviously a little cheating or not strictly carnivore in there. So I have no idea how it's going to affect you. But the first week or two, get ready for a cleansing, we'll call it. Your body's going to cleanse itself out of all the junk you've been putting in it forever. That's going to be a bit odd, but that's perfectly normal. Then after the fact, you kind of go through a sugar crash if you eat a lot of sugars and sweets. And then once you get past that, oh, you feel great. And then you'll start noticing skin changing and hair changing and ailments and just autoimmune things that bother you. Like majority of people start seeing those changes after about 3 to 4 weeks in. So at least try to stick with it that long. And then you're going to realize, oh, this is pretty cool stuff. How are the solar panels doing on the chop shop roof? They're doing pretty good, but because the sun's really low in the sky this time of year, wintertime, they don't get a whole lot of sun up there, but they still produce enough power. But the ones on the ground are getting a tremendous amount of sun with the way they're set up. So I am keeping my battery 100% topped off. I'm usually charged up well before lunch, even when I'm out there running stuff, and we're always pumping fuel and running fans and all that stuff. I've had zero issues with the panels keeping that battery topped off. Now down the road, whenever we start doing a bigger electric saw and things like that, we'll just have to see. May have to add a battery. I seriously still don't think we're gonna have to add any more panels out there. I should be good to go on that. Sharon says, hi everyone. I made it only 5 minutes late. We'll accept it.
Glad you're here.
And Gopher says, happy Sunday from North Florida. We know the area, being that we're living in North Florida. Christine, thank you so very much.
Thank you,
She
Christine.
just gifted out 10 memberships to people. So thank you so much for doing that. For people that may have got a membership and don't know what the heck it is, you'll get one for a month because Christine was nice and generous and does this a lot. We do little sneak peeks, behind the scenes stuff. As I continue to work on the big solar array and some projects this week, we'll give some sneak peeks and stuff out there. Occasionally we'll do some short videos, and we usually do a members only live stream as well. It's just something we feel like we need to do.
We're gonna have to look at the calendar
That'll
and
be
try to
that
figure
next
out.
week.
Well, that's Thanksgiving week, so but I mean,
Yeah,
we
but
can do it that
Thanksgiving's
week.
at the end of the week.
Yeah, it'll be a busy week, but we'll see.
Yep. But we'll definitely work that in. That's just our way of saying thank you for the people that are doing this. Honestly, they're doing it to support us. I don't really think they're doing it for the little perks and stuff. But we try to give something back. And Christine, thank you so much. Always so kind and generous. Tiffany, what do you do to fried pork rinds to make your batter? How does that work?
So I buy the plain pork rinds that don't have any added sugars or seasonings into it. I blend it down to where it's almost a fine powder. And then I usually, well, like tonight, the meat is soaking in egg, and I did put a little bit of mustard in it just to kind of make a binder. And then I'll put the pork rinds on top of that and fry it. So instead of using flour and things like that, we've been using the pork rinds, and it really works out. It works out pretty good. We'll see how this one does. I haven't ever made it before on the Blackstone like this, so we'll see how well it sticks and what it does tonight.
And most pork rinds are fried in their own lard or fat, which is also acceptable. But make for sure whenever you buy your pork rinds, like she said, plain, but read on the back. Make sure it does not say it was fried in seed oils. That's something you absolutely want to try to avoid with this diet. That's the whole point of getting on it, getting stuff like that out of your life. So that's relatively easy to find plain ones that's been fried.
Yeah, I
in
get
their
the
own
great
fat.
value. It's super cheap for a whole bag, and I usually use a whole bag anytime I make a recipe, whether it's the little bread things that I make or the tortillas that I make. I just blend it down to where it's a powder and usually add egg and water that makes like a good batter, or just using it dry for like a batter.
It's shocking what all you can make out of pork rinds, from literally hamburger buns to tortillas for tacos. Like, I mean, obviously the texture and taste is going to be different than your floured type stuff, but it still gives you something that feels like bread and works another way, and is super low carb. So even if you're not on carnivore, you're on a keto diet or something, that stuff is extremely low carb. All right, Kevin says, hello, Quincy, Missouri. Just got out of the stand for the day. Got a doe this morning. This was doe weekend for us, and I claimed I was going to go, but after getting a buck this week, I didn't get super excited about going and getting a doe. I'll just continue to hunt for bucks the
Ruger
rest
made
of the
it
season.
to the live stream.
Yep, Ruger is now awake, which he just got done eating. He was over there eating.
Yeah.
He's been taking naps all day long. And then
he really enjoyed the hunt a lot. He
goodness.
was obsessed. He followed Andrew the whole night. And even the next day, Andrew went out there to the food plot, working the food plot, and Ruger was right there with him the whole time. He was like, let's go get another one.
This dog's got a nose on him like crazy. He knew exactly where I shot it. He trailed the deer, found the deer, like just no problems whatsoever. He just knows what to go out there and do. He's got a crazy good nose on him. But yeah, absolute crackhead, just nuts for us getting this deer. Like, he gets so excited about guns and things like that. He just knows there's something to go sniff.
I forgot to ask
you,
did he do okay in the stand out there with you?
Yeah, he slept for about, I stayed out there a while that day. I stayed out there about 3 hours that day. He slept for about 2 hours, and then he started getting kind of fidgety.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about the time the deer start coming out, he's sniffing up at the window, getting fidgety, wanting to go out. I'm like, oh, hold on. But then when he seen I got that gun, he was like, oh, okay.
Something's about to happen.
Yeah, then he got all kinds of excited. So Whitetail Dave says, look for the deer hunting video. Just got me a buck on Saturday. I'm about to put the whole back strap on the pellet grill for dinner. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we've still got some back strap in the freezer from other deer that we really need to eat, but we may turn them into fry meat or grind them up and save some of this new stuff. But I've been trying to figure out if I want to cut my back strap up and cube it, fry it, or if I want to leave sections about this long. I like to butterfly it and stuff it with cream
but
cheese
we don't
and
do that
peppers.
too often. So saving it like that, I don't know.
Well, how you want it? You want me to just cube it up, make it in some fry meat?
Yeah, might as
Vacuum
well.
seal it as fry meat?
Might as well.
All right. We'll do that, even though we don't fry very often either. How is Doug doing? Asked Chris. Mr. Doug's doing fine. He still occasionally emails me. We talk on videos via comments and stuff all the time. He keeps threatening to try to make a live stream one of these days, but I'm noticing when he emails me, it'll be like 3 a.m. in the morning. So he's obviously still working night shift, which makes it just about impossible for him to get on these live streams. But I'll for sure let him know that y'all been asking about him. And he watches a lot of the live streams as well. So he'll hear us talking about him right now. As far as I know, he is doing just fine. So Matt says the sewing room sounds like a rainy day project, early Christmas gift. Yes, it does sound like a rainy day project. That's something
Yeah.
we'll definitely. I've still got to figure out the layout. We got to figure out exactly what it is you're wanting. We're
It's not
building
going to be
walls.
much to it.
I know, but it's such a dungeon up there. I just hate that.
It's not going to be much. It's just mainly you trying to figure out the lighting. And we talked about putting one like wall up so I can hang stuff or whatever. It's not going to be much at all. There's not a whole lot of room up there to do anything. And like I said, I just want it up there. So whenever I need it, it's already out, laid out, and
Yeah.
ready to use.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So Carrie asked, "Did you guys watch Yellowstone? And what did you think?"
Yeah. We did, and I was very disappointed in what I read online. A lot of people were. I felt like they just kind of fluffed it just to get some
Just to get another season
footage.
out.
Yeah.
I,
Maybe it gets better with time as the episodes go on, but this one was pretty lame.
we knew they had to
Yeah.
do something because we knew Kevin Costner wasn't coming back.
And that I'm sure upset a lot of people from what I read too, and it did me too. So I didn't like that part of it. But hey, that's how it goes with a lot of these shows.
Yeah,
So
you could definitely tell this is for sure the last season,
I
and they're
felt like
trying
they
to
could
milk
have
it.
just did a little bit more drama in the first episode to kind of capture you into the season, and they just kind of fluffed it. It was a lot of horseback riding and cattle, driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna watch the other episode tonight or
Yeah.
tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna finish it out.
We
We've been so
are.
committed to it. It's been an amazing show, but I hate the way it's ending. I really do.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That was another one. Okay, Joe. Yeah, definitely want to catch your comments. Said some good news. Had my PET scan Monday. The results show a 45%
Woohoo!
reduction
That's
of his kidney
awesome.
cancer. Prayers help for sure. We're
Praise
so
the
happy to
Lord.
hear that, Joe.
That's awesome, Joe.
And we pray that you keep continuing to get results like this until there is nothing there. So we've
Great
absolutely seen
news.
it happen to a lot of people. Any news like that is good news. So yeah, we
Absolutely.
hope
So
that keeps happening for you. Larry says the cleansing definitely happened. So did some weight loss, 20 pounds, and then a
yeah.
trip to Kentucky for family get together to put some of it back on. Hey, I totally understand. This is a wrong time of year to start a diet, but
Yeah.
don't use that as an excuse not to start one either. Anytime's a good time to get healthier, and we always use the holidays as an excuse
I
of
think that's why we're at kind of a plateau right now because it seems like every weekend there's a cookout or we're going
yeah,
out to eat or something. So
birthday parties
we
and
kind of backslide a little bit. We do really good throughout the week, and then the weekends we kind of backslide. But we're starting to get into cooler weather. We'll be able to exercise more where it's been so hot and we've kind of just been tired at the end of the day.
yeah.
But hopefully the exercise then will kick us back into gear.
Once I start getting over to the property, which is still gonna be a while, I'm building an actual cabin, and then once I get out and
Oh
start
yeah.
clearing all these trails and wood, that's really, really active work. I expect to start losing weight again, which I'm at my target weight. I was 225 a while back, y'all. You go watch some older videos. Oh my goodness, me and old puffy face here, and I'm 185 now. I'd got down to 181, but my goal is 185. But the more I'm sitting here, I feel like maybe I should be around 175. But I'm probably not going to get there until we start adding in some more exercise.
Yeah.
But
Same.
I'm really happy. 40 pounds off of me is really good, and all the other benefits that has come along with it
Yeah.
as
We're
well.
happy with our
Yeah,
progress.
we are. All right, so Henderson's how-to. How about you, Casey? I didn't even know if you were still alive, man. Haven't seen you in forever. He says, "What's up, chat? How's it going, Anders? Going good, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well." If y'all all remember Henderson's how-to, that's Casey over in Panama City. Remember, I went and looked at some of his homes. He's one that hooked me up with that awesome grapple that we rebuilt on the channel, and now I've got one that's like as robust as you could ever ask for a tractor one, and it's been such a blessing. Dude, I don't know if you watch a lot of videos anymore, but I give you shout outs all the time. That grapple has been,
Yeah. I don't know how we made it without
it's
it.
been such a blessing. It's been a lifesaver. And I got so many trees down in our woods. All my trails are blocked. It's going to take me all winter long to clear that up. I'm going to use the heck out of that grapple. So good to have you on here. Wade says, hello, everyone working tonight, so may not be here long. Hey, Wade, I totally understand it. I used to work a lot of shift work and nighttime stuff, so I appreciate you dropping by, but I totally understand what you mean. Make that money. So, congratulations on getting your first deer of the season. Thanks. And it's first deer in 2 years, but a lot of that's been my fault. I did not hunt very hard last year. So, what is my deer rifle? Y'all can see how far behind I am. Boy, I hate to even say because it is the most controversial round on the planet right now. I shoot a 6.5 Creedmoor and absolutely love it. Everybody makes fun of it, but that's because a lot of people shoot it. It's become extremely popular. Very low recoil, extremely accurate, and more than powerful enough for our little Florida deer. Like a good deer for us is probably what I got the other night. That's probably 175-pound deer, which is like, by the way, biggest deer I've ever in my life got. Typically down here, 125, 150 pounds is your average deer. So a 6.5 Creedmoor is wonderful. Ammo is affordable, very easy to find, and like I said, deadly accurate. I don't like. I've had 270s, and I know people shoot 30-06s and 300 Win mags and 338s. I don't need all that extra loudness and kicking in my life for these little old deer that we have. Um, Robert says we just literally got TV back, cable TV, so we could watch it. Are you talking about since the hurricane? I know you're down there a little bit further south of us, so if you literally got TV back, is that because you just ordered it, or because your stuff's been tore up from the hurricane? I'd be curious about that. Sounds like the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. I'm guessing you're talking about how disappointing the um Yellowstone was. And I did not watch that fight, but I've heard everybody talk about it. It was just a letdown. I already knew going into it, the stuff was going to be so rigged. It was a publicity stunt for them to make $60 million, it sounds like. So I knew that wasn't going to be anything I was going to watch. Plus, we were at a birthday party anyways. I've seen better fights at the Waffle House. Hey.
Probably.
So have I watched the new Matlock show? No. I had no idea there was a new Matlock show, but I can sure remember that from when I was a kid, the original Matlock.
We need some new shows to watch. We've run low on our shows, which we've been in a lot lately.
Yeah, we have. We still don't watch a whole lot of TV, but there are, especially all these rainy days coming up and all. We'll get in there, or whenever we have long, crazy nights like Friday night. We was at a birthday party and got home way too late. Well, sometimes Saturday you just kind of want to be a little lazy and lay around. I'll do some editing. We'll watch a few shows, and then when it feels good like this, we'll come on out, have a fire, do some stuff like that. Hoping for a new podcast and a story of when and how solar came about, says Larry. Podcast, sure. I don't know that people are going to want to hear that as a topic. There's probably some more interesting stuff that we can come up with. But long story short, Larry, I was never a supporter of solar. And I had so many people asked us to incorporate it. Why are we not doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, I just hundreds, if not thousands of comments. Finally, I was like, okay, apparently people want to see me do solar. I was like, I got cheap electric. I can't really justify it. And then we started doing it. And the views came in. I was like, okay, well, we'll continue to do it for that alone. Then we started getting hurricanes and power outages and everything else. And I started seeing the value in it. I was like, okay, now I'm a little more interested. Now we've invested a lot of our money into it as well. And we're going to continue to do that. We got this huge array going in right now. We're moving the pool pump over to solar to save a bunch of money a month. The shop's already 100% on solar. So we're already saving quite a bit of money a month doing that. Plus it's making the content that everybody wants to see. But I fought everybody for a couple of years. I'm like, y'all, I can't justify it. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess back then we didn't, open our eyes to the variety of ways that we could use it. We thought it would be on the house and we weren't interested in doing that. But then as you got into it, you're like, oh, I see a need for this, this, this. And here we are. You got it on your hunting stand now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Now my deer blinds are already solar powered and I love it. I love it. Oh, let's see here. Honestly, we probably still couldn't justify it if it weren't for social media and the ways that we can fund some of it and some of the sponsorships and all. Let's be perfectly honest. But since the interest is there and we love making educational and DIY content, we're going to do it. And if the interest is ever not there, then we'll ease off of it. But right now, people are loving the stuff more and more. Oh, speaking of that, Larry, guess what I got in yesterday, Larry? I got that generator you've been asking about. So I'll be doing some testing and reviews on it this week. I'm super excited about that. That's that EcoFlow smart generator. Actually, I've got two of them. One's a brand new model I don't even think nobody really knows about. So we'll be doing some testing on that this week. I am super excited about pairing that up with my big Delta Pro unit because now we've got solar, and then we've got a smart generator as backup that'll kick on, run, and do all kinds of cool stuff, whether we're even here or not.
So is that like a Black Friday launch or something
No, I
else?
think it's going to be this coming up week or next week. They'll do the launch on the new small one. The big one has already been out, but they sold out and they just finally got some back in stock. But they will be having some crazy Black Friday sales and stuff. So I'm kind of doing the videos to gear more toward that.
Okay.
They always do big time sales for Black Friday. Actually, they got a bunch of sales going on right now. But I'm doing that generator because I've had so many people request that I do that. I didn't even know about it until y'all started talking about it. Then I looked it up. But I usually get asked every live stream about it. So got it in yesterday. I'll be tearing it out of the box this coming week, and we'll be doing some testing on it. So half pint, I agree with you. I run a 243 and 270. I run a 243 almost my entire life. Just love 243s. Another super accurate light kicking round, but probably a little on the small side. Although they work. They absolutely work, especially Florida deer. But I wanted to get in something a little bigger, and I've experimented with other calibers, and the 6.5 just made perfect sense for me. So that's where I'm gonna be sticking. There's no reason for me to get away from that. Oh, okay. Robert says they just got cable TV back so they could watch Yellowstone. Well, you're going to be disappointed, Robert.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed. You got it back just for that show, and then it's not starting out too well, which you may be pleased and happy with. We were quite disappointed. What else? All right. Wade says 50 cal muzzleloader there. Yeah, I know a lot of y'all have shotgun and muzzleloading only seasons down here in Florida. Where actually we got very short seasons of that, but we get a really long rifle season. We're kind of blessed with that. All right, Mr. Jimmy says, got to run, dinner time. God bless y'all. Have a good week. See you, Mr. Jimmy, if you're still on. And he says, nope, not the tree stand today. That was going to be my question because this would be the first time you've been on a live stream and not been in the tree stand. So Larry says moving the pool pump over solar will pay for a lot of solar. It will.
Oh,
What it's got to originally pay for is the trenching. I got rented a trencher this week. We got to run new wire, new conduit. That's all a few $100, but I've literally already crunched the numbers. It's only going to take me just a few months, and all that's 100% paid for. And then all the big time savings we get every month just from the pool pump and a few other things starts paying off our solar array bill. Take a few years to pay us back for all that, but then it's free and clear at that point. I mean, solar arrays last long enough that it will 100% pay for itself. But more importantly, come the next hurricane and power outages that we've been dealing so much with, I don't think we're ever going to have to fire up another generator unless it's really cloudy days. We're going to have enough solar now that we can run the house and the shop super quiet, 100% on solar all night long. I really need about one more battery for the shop to make that happen and work really well for some cloudiness. But I think we're going to take care of all that. So we're about to be where we need to be. Reading. So how's the gate getting on with delivery, drive, and people buying wood? How's the gate getting?
How's the gate going? Probably.
Well, yeah, but with the delivery, drive, and people buying wood, it says Kelly. I'm not sure if I'm reading that quite right. The gate's been doing fine. I explained a while back. I have to make limit switch adjustments on it whenever we have seasonal changes like this because there's so much metal and wood and stuff going on there. On hot days, things expand. On cold days, things contract. So it puts tension on the gate opener, and I'll have to go down there and reset my limit switches from time to time. Otherwise, the gate backs itself off. As far as wood goes, it's been so hot up to this point. Still haven't. I ain't gonna lie. I just sold another face cord of wood that I've got to go deliver. Sold that yesterday. But as far as bundles go, it's been dead. It's been literally in the 80s. Now I'm hoping starting after this cold front middle of the week, we've got so many days in the 60s and 40s. I think maybe we'll start moving some wood. That should work out that way. We'll see. Do we have the firewood stand out? Oh, absolutely. Only time, I even left it out through the hurricane, but I did completely unload it. But I've got it lag bolted into a 6x6 that's in the ground. I'm never going to pull that up and move it. Oh, how about that? Robert says where they filmed Yellowstone, we actually live there in Montana.
Oh, that's
They
awesome.
filmed that. Oh, yeah, that's so beautiful there. Probably not the best time of year to be there now with all the blizzards and stuff coming through, but so beautiful out there. So Half Pint says I need to look into that 6.5. Once you do, you're gonna get hooked, dude. You're going to get hooked. I don't know that it's worth it for you to move from a 270 to it, to be honest. Unless you just want a little less recoil and easier shooting on you. But 270 is such a great round. It's kind of hard to justify moving from it. So Larry says, can't do solo where we live, no room, gated golf course community. That's definitely a problem. And a lot of those communities with HOAs and rules and stuff don't allow it as well. Larry says Falcon 9 has now launched. I'm assuming they launched out in your area, or either you're watching on TV. We have yet to really catch one of those launches. We should. 300 H&H Magnum, says Steamboat. That is old school right there. Are you doing any local advertising for your Firewood? No, I'm not. And that's because I wasn't as prepared this year as I wanted to be. I've already got enough people that call me out of the blue, want to buy Firewood, but we burned so much here. Well, we hadn't because it's been hot, and we're going to be burning so much over at the river property that honestly, I didn't want to advertise heavily this year. Want to make sure we got many cords for us to burn. But I've got people that have called me, like somebody called yesterday looking for a third of a cord. Sure, I'll sell that, and that'll happen a few more times throughout the winter. Next thing you know, I've done sold a few cords, and I kind of don't really want to sell much more than that. Plus, I'd rather my wood go to bundles because I make more per the amount of wood that I sell anyways. And I have no idea if bundle sales will pick up once we start getting cold snaps or not. I expected this year to be slow. This year's more about people just recognizing there's a stand out there. A lot of people have their own firewood because of the hurricane damage and all the trees down. Next year should be better because people will know the stand's there. People that don't even live down this road that occasionally drive it will start recognizing that, and they'll know that they can come get it.
All right, you can go ahead and turn it around.
All right, I wasn't really looking to sell a whole lot this year, honestly, because we burned so much. But I know I'll sell a few cords. All right, I'm going to move this camera around and pray that I don't unplug it because it's got cords in it everywhere. All right. I got the camera a bit bright, y'all, but we probably better leave it that way because it's getting dark so quick and that'll keep me from having to run back here and bump up the brightness.
All right, so if y'all missed it, we are doing country fried steak with white gravy.
Wade says, bullet. Yep, he's out here.
He's here, yeah.
There's cooking going on, so he's going to be out here.
He's here for the food. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Starship's supposed to launch this Tuesday in the afternoon, Boca Chica, Texas. Man, they launch from everywhere, don't they? They launch Florida, here. Larry, you watching on TV, or do they launch out in Vegas? I have no idea, to be perfectly honest with you. Half Pint says sounds delicious. It is. All right, y'all. Yeah, we're pretty low on people tonight, so I'm actually caught up for once with some of the comments. If I missed one earlier, by all means, ask it again. Otherwise, pop them out, and I'll keep chit-chatting with y'all. So how do you stop people from just stealing the wood in your stand? You try to live in a good area like us. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but you put out your cameras, your surveillance. You just try to hope people are going to be honest. And if I wind up with too much theft or anything going on down there, which, by the way, I hate stealing with a passion. Stealing a line, hate it. Hate it. So if it happens too much, we'll just shut the stand down, and I'll just have to advertise and sell a different way. That's too much work to have people steal it. But I'm not expecting much of a problem, honestly, just because we live in a good area where people know people. It's kind of everybody knows everybody around here. So we're still blessed and thankful that we live in an area that you can kind of trust people. I mean, I still know it's still common here for most people to leave their houses unlocked, pull up the store, car running, keys in it. It's just been that way forever. It's just theft does happen because sadly there's drugs and other reasons that people do that stuff around here, but it's just not as bad as you may be thinking in some of the areas that y'all are in. Plus, we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, absolutely middle of nowhere. And big time Second Amendment states. A lot of people are scared of breaking in and stealing and doing stuff around here, if you know what I mean, especially out here in the woods. All right, so California, Cape Carnivore, Texas. Okay, how about that? So Carrie says that so expensive wood here in Northwest England is 135 bag. I don't really know how much that is, but if you're saying it's expensive, I'll trust you on that one, Carrie. Michael, how's the bad adoption program going? I haven't checked in a couple weeks, but last time I checked, nothing. But I do need to go out there and see. And I need to put some up over at our new property, although we already have quite a few bats over there. So, but we got quite a few mosquitoes too. We need them to eat it. Larry says, my favorite meal, country fried steak or white gravy. When I was younger, I absolutely love that. And that's one of the things that at Texas Roadhouse or Cracker Barrel, they make some excellent country fried steak. And I don't care if it's steak, chicken fried, I like them both. Chicken fried steak's pretty good too, especially with some good old mashed potatoes and gravy. Ooh. So this is part of that cow that we buy some out of every year. And oh my goodness, that cow is so tender and so good. Hey, what Ruger's growling and barking at? We better keep an eye out over there. Okay, so Anna says, I usually go outside my backyard myself on YouTube for the cake launches. Awesome. That's cool that you can see that. You can only see a little flame during the day except the contrail. But that's pretty cool that you can see it like that. There's been some rocket launches in the past, either we're up here near Tallahassee, that you can see on the perfect day if you're near the coast looking back. But I don't know that that's anything SpaceX related. That's some of the gigantic launches in the past. But I've only ever seen just a couple. Do we do any winter prep for the storm shelter? No, no need to do that at all. I keep the storm shelter on a timed ventilator. I always run fresh air in there. The water that goes to the outside the spigot, I'll wrap up and drain whenever we have them super cold nights. But the storm shelter literally needs no work. It's all the other stuff around here, the pool, the outside spigots, and I only take care of those on those nights when we start getting like. Usually it's a weird number, 27 degrees and colder. There's something about that number is when we can start running into some potential pipes busting. And it's all based on how low the temperature is and for how long. I mean, if we barely bump 27 right at daylight, no big deal. But if you're hitting it, 2, 3, 4 a.m., you've got problems. So we have to run spigots, heat lamps, all that stuff. But it's only just a few days out of the year we have to do that. Although the last couple of years, we've literally got some teen days and one time single digits with the wind chill. That's kind of wild for Florida. And speaking of, I've got to build my pump house, so I don't have to keep dealing with that and worrying if my tank and pipes are going to bust over there. Well, the tank won't, but the pipes will. All right. Bob says, representing Western Kentucky here. Howdy, y'all. Love Western Kentucky. We almost convinced ourselves to move there a long time ago. Just beautiful up there in the creeks and hollers, but man, no towns, out in the middle of nowhere. Half Pint says the mosquitoes are still out. Oh yeah, we're gonna need a couple of them frosts that we were just talking about. Did the dove field activity pick up after you mow with the grasshopper and use the blower? Asked Robert. Yes, it did. Still got a decent amount of doves going out there. But the seed won't last forever, especially as we start getting more rains and the stuff rots and gets in the ground. So that first hunt that we only had a few friends over, wasn't expecting much, probably a couple hundred birds come in. Problem is this late in the year, they've already been hunted so hard. They're coming really high, really fast, and they're almost impossible to hit. But it was pretty cool seeing that many. That was a bit unexpected. But I still do have some birds coming in. Me and old Ruger, we need to actually go out there and sit and try to have us a little, I don't want to say father-son time, but something like that. You know what I mean? I ain't got, that's my baby boy over there. So, so Jonathan says, here in Florida, mow my grass. Hope for the last time this year. I think it's going to be. I'm seeing so many low 40-degree days and a potential 30-degree day this week. That's going to stunt the grass. At least I don't know where you live, but up here it will. I think we are officially done mowing. Normally we're done, honestly, September, October, but we just haven't had no cold spells. This has been really, really weird. But now it's looking like we're going to get a bunch of cold days in a row. So, hey, I'll take it. It's making up for lost time. Larry says, Cracker Barrel's my go-to for meals. I haven't been there in years, literally years. I keep forgetting about that place, even though they're on every exit around here, it seems like. So Daryl just jumped on from Thomasville, Georgia. We know that area well. Speaking of Thomasville, we need to get our butts back up there and go to some Jonah's Fish and Grits or the Plaza.
Yes.
I keep forgetting the name of that place.
Anytime you're ready.
I know. Larry says they have the same problem there. Whenever it gets super cold, doesn't happen often. When it does, plumbers make a fortune. Isn't that the truth? The people always from up north ask me, why don't y'all build for cold weather down there? It's just never made it into the building codes and just the standard down here for some reason because you rarely need it. But then whenever you get them crazy deep south cold snaps that catches you off guard, then you kind of wish you had built for it. So that's why we pull our heat lamps out and frost blankets and all that stuff and drip pipes. And we have to run our pools all night long because we don't winterize pools here. There's just no need. But whenever we get those nights, we'll kick it on and run it. Where are all the moderators? Asked Adam. Well, I know Crystal had something going on with her family tonight, so she said that she wouldn't make it. Mr. Jimmy had to jump off. He's cooking, but we got Chris. That's all we need. And Cash, he's probably busy working on another vehicle or something else, like he always is. And by the way, Adam, thank you so very much. We appreciate you. We really do. Yeah, Mongo says, I may be doing mowing the lawn, but we're still watching out for hurricanes. Isn't that the truth? I'm so happy, Sarah.
Yes.
Like a few days ago, they're like, oh, it's definitely hitting Florida as a major hurricane. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, we're rolling into Thanksgiving here. And then next day, they're like, oh, it looks like it's going to fizzle out. Then they're like, oh, it might come back. Now they're saying it's going to fizzle out again and just give us a bunch of rain this week. So I'm like, whatever, I'll take that. The thought of packing up all of this stuff again and doing hurricane preparedness right before Thanksgiving just made me cringe.
Next year, we might just leave everything packed up until Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but we need to enjoy our porch.
Oh, man.
I still got my fans up there are still strapped from the last hurricane. I still haven't put none of my banners or American flag up at the Firewood barn because every time I start thinking about doing it, they're like, hey, look out. Could be another storm next week. I'm like, I'll just put all my banners and stuff back up like maybe Christmas. So does Ruger pick the birds up when you go hunting and bring them back? He is learning that. So this is his first time kind of doing that. Last year, he was only able to get just a couple birds. And honestly, I've spent no time training him, but he absolutely knows what he's doing. He still needs some training, don't get me wrong. But you tell him dead bird, his nose is to the ground. He knows to go find it. He gets excited about that. He just knows what to do. What he doesn't like is, and what he's still trying to figure out, when he grabs a hold of a bird with that old big, wet, slobbery tongue, them feathers get sticking to his tongue, he's out there just ha, ha, ha. He doesn't like that part.
He wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah, he isn't a big fan of all the feathers sticking to him, which is okay. So Joey says the plaza. Yeah, man, the plaza up in Thomasville is a pretty cool place. So the last time Tiffany and I went there, we went for live music. We love live music. And we ate while we were there. But the plaza is really cool because it's got a formal dining room with different types of food. Does it have 3 places or 2 places in there to eat?
It had several different.
It may have 2 different types of dining rooms. One's a formal dining room, but then it's got a section off to the side, which is kind of like more of a lounge where you can get your typical food, but you can order from the main inside as well. Food was good, but live music, live bands, we absolutely love that. So it's a really cool place to visit. And one other thing I love about Thomasville is you can take country roads right into the old downtown street right there, and then you can drive right back out. I don't like city driving. I don't like nighttime driving, none of that stuff. So it's easy in, easy out. It'd be easy for you to shoot right back to Tallahassee as well. And I'm sure you went up and ate at Jonah's Fish and Grits. Very delicious food if you're ever just looking for a place to grab some food. But Plaza's got a cool place for hanging out. So Rob says, I have an EcoFlow Ultra and it will run my new AC, but do you think a soft start would still be beneficial or a waste of money? If your unit's running it, I think it'd be a waste of money at this point. That will make it easier to start, but there's really no need in it. Obviously, your unit's powerful enough to get it going. The only time I would do the soft start personally is if you were having issues getting it started. I'm reading. Yeah, Mongo says, whoa, hummingbird. Are they still here? Oh, my goodness. I figured they'd be done went south by now, but that's how hot it's been here.
We have not seen it since the last time it was on the live stream.
That's true. Haven't seen it in weeks.
Crazy.
I guarantee you with this little cool snap coming in, it's about to go on down south.
Yeah.
I'm shocked they're still here. Normally they've migrated by now, I think. So, Mongo, that's where you messed up. It said last weekend I removed all the hurricane shutters from the house. I don't really want to put them back up. You're the one that caused this storm scare then. You know you can't take that stuff off like that. So even Ross, all the way up in Ontario, Canada, said it's been unseasonably warm up there as well. 57 degrees there today. No snow in sight. Yeah, it's
Mm.
been odd. That's wild. I don't know how if you're still gonna be that warm in a few days, but we may beat you all the way down here in Florida. But you know how it is. We'll all talk about how warm it is, and then we'll wind up with a record cold and an ice storm or something crazy like we've had before. And let's be careful how much we talk about it. But I'd much rather deal with cold and craziness than I would any more hurricanes. So do you see that Southernwood Specialties is running some special tongue groove pine material? Might get you some for your new cabin at the river. Problem is I ain't got nowhere to store it, but I had no idea they were doing that. I'll just have to reach back out to them once we kind of get the cabin build finalized. I'm not sure if we're putting tongue groove pine in it or not. That's something we can kind of figure out at a later date. We might do the ceiling. We might do an accent wall. Not real sure. But we do kind of have our plans and stuff figured out. We got to start working with an architect before long. So a little update on the river property since everybody's talking about it right now. We are working through the headache and hassle and nightmare that we knew that we were going to have. Right now, I've had to hire out an environmental consultant, environmental engineer, and a company to come out there and map out all the wetlands, all the setbacks, read all the crazy rules, state rules, Corps engineer rules, local rules, and basically tell us where we can or cannot do some of these things. And we're being prepared and prepare y'all that we may not even be able to build the cabin down at the river. We kind of already knew that. We know the property's high enough up front where we was able to put the septic in, but it's low back toward the river by several feet. And due to a lot of these rules, regulations, and setbacks, we may not, which is a bummer. You get river property because you want your cabin to be on the river. But if we can still at least be down there and do something cool down by the river, screen room, whatever, still enjoy the property the way we want, we have prepared ourselves for that. Man, I need to bump the camera up. So just giving y'all a heads up on that. But the reason we haven't moved forward with doing a lot of stuff is because we've got so many rules and regulations and stuff to wade through. And assuming the weather doesn't stop my environmental consultant this week, he's supposed to go over there and start mapping all that out. So by the end of this week or first of next week, we'll start having a good idea on locations, what we can and can't do. Because we're trying to get a barn up over there right now too, a pole barn, where we can start storing materials like you're just talking about. I need somewhere to drop off house building materials, to work whenever it's raining, eventually build a shop inside of it. And it's very easy for me to go build the barn. Problem is I got to make sure I'm putting it somewhere that's not in any wetlands, any setbacks, anything crazy like that. It's a headache and nightmare, to be perfectly honest with you. I know a lot of people, the way they comment, they think, oh, you just get a piece of property like that and you just go build, either pull a simple permit or just go do stuff that you want. Nope. That stuff is so protected and so crazy. We got to just wade through all the mumbo jumbo. The rules and regulations are insane. But again, we kind of already knew that was going to happen. We didn't know what to expect, but we knew it wasn't going to be as easy as building over here on, high and dry open land.
Well, dinner is almost done, but my gravy's going to take a little while to reduce and cook down.
That's fine. All right. Well, I'll grab a couple of more comments, and then we may slip on off and start doing some eating here, y'all. So I have a question about your Blackstone. I have one just like it with a catch pan in the back for oil and stuff to collect. How's your setup since you built it into your island? So I still have a catch pan back there, but I showed this on one of my outdoor kitchen build episodes. I took the big fat catch pan like you have, and I just done away with it. And I custom built me a long, skinny catch pan that is still back there, and I still have to dump. I almost plumbed a fitting and hosing to it and ran it down to a catch pot or a bucket underneath the bottom, but I didn't really want the potential of grease spills. I didn't really want nothing down there that bugs and everything's going to be attracted to. And no more frying than we do like this. It doesn't fill up as often as you would think. So what I have to do is just pull the Blackstone forward, pull that thin catch pan out, and just go dump it. Plus, I needed to space the Blackstone away from the tile anyways. You need air to go around so this all doesn't get so crazy hot. So I just made a thorough one, but I still got my air gap back there. Bob says, America, land of the fees. taxes, and more taxes.
Oh, yeah.
I know we're not quite as free as we all think we are or like to think we are sometimes, but we still live in a pretty blessed place. There's no doubt about that. But we are being ruled and regulated to death. It is insane, all the rules and regulations that people have to wade through. So Larry says, oh, Rob says, I'm looking at the micro air, but it's much more expensive than competitors. I'm not familiar what y'all are talking about, but I see you're also talking to Mr. Larry, and that might be either the air conditioner or the soft start that you're talking about. I'm not too familiar with that. So are y'all trying to tell us that you may be living in a van down by the river? Won't
We
be a van, but it
might.
might be a camper. No, we're absolutely going to build something over there. It just may have to be on the front side of the property. Now, there is a silver lining in that. The bad news is I want to see the river off my back deck. I want to be able to drink coffee in the morning and look out at the river. That's the whole point of having river property, right? But if we have to build up front, the good news is the front basically does not flood. The water will go around where we build the cabin, but we'll always have access. Whereas if we build down by the river, there literally will be times that we'll have to canoe in. That's just the way it goes down there. So the good news is we build up front, a lot less risk that we'll ever not be able to access the home or have to use a boat to access it, because it's several feet higher up front, like 5 feet higher. That makes a big difference down there. And we just got to see a historical flood. And while it did go down the road to the property where the septic and potential house could go, stayed high and dry. It's one of the higher spots on that road right there. So that's a good thing. But we'll just wade through it, figure it all out. We're going to do everything we can to build down by the river, even though it's got a pretty big setback.
My gravy's
Oh, it is. You better lift it up. All right, it's boiling now, ain't it?
Yeah.
But we'll get all that figured out. It is what it is. And I tell you what, if they tell me I can't build down there, I have already got a backup plan, y'all. We're gonna have something down there by that river regardless, where we can enjoy it and we can hang out. And you know what? The tons of rules and regulations. Sometimes you got to work your way around them. Tread lightly, work your way around them.
We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. I put my life on the internet, so it's got to be legal. It's got to be right. That's the right way to do it, anyways. But I can play that game if I need to. We'll make sure that we can get some way to enjoy the river side, the riverbank side, if you know what I'm saying. So, how do you make meat-friendly gravies? Says Adam. Thank you, Adam. By the way.
I typically use heavy cream and sometimes some cheese in it also to thicken it. But tonight I was going to try to reduce down this heavy cream, and it's okay if it's a little runny, but at least it's somewhat carnivore. Well, it is carnivore
Yeah.
with the heavy cream
And
lots of garlic.
And we often say carnivore is meat based. It is, but it's animal based, is what we truly should be saying.
Anything from an animal,
Yep.
butter.
So the eggs, the butter, the
Heavy
cream, that
yep.
all qualifies 100%. Mr. Mike, you're exactly right. I did miss your donation. Thank you so much. I just scroll back up and found it.
Thank you.
It shoots me to the bottom all the time, and it'll shoot me past
And I'm
comments and
usually there
donations.
to try to help
Yep,
catch it.
she is. So she said Ruger's watching something. Yeah, he was out there growling and barking a minute ago, but we also just had a neighbor go by on a UTV. They do a bunch of hunting back there, and Ruger heard them and was probably looking to see if they're going to stop by and chat with him. Mr. Mike, thank you so very much. Appreciate you. Really do appreciate you. All right. Dinner was good. Now I'm getting sleepy. Mr. Jimmy's back. Yeah, I know. As soon as we eat this heavy fried type stuff, I'm probably gonna have a heavy belly, and it not time for a nap. I'm
Hey,
gonna
but
be.
we usually eat this meal over like some mashed potatoes
Oh,
or rice, but
yes,
we're
we
not
do.
doing that tonight, so we'll be all right.
You talk about a heavy meal.
Yeah.
Fried steak like this, all that gravy, and you put it over heavy mashed potatoes. So good while you're eating it, so miserable after you eat it. It puts you straight to bed. All right, we'll catch a couple more of these. And then I guess we're getting close to eating since her gravies are there reducing down. All right, I got to scroll back down because I shot back up to find Mr. Mike's donation there. Do we still use our cellular Reolink cameras? Had any trouble with them? And do you still use the Flexi Boom Sims? Yes, yes, and yes. Still have, how many do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 of them.
You have the one out there too?
Yep, but I don't have that one active anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I should, but you know what? I don't know if it'll pick up over there or not, but if so, we'll probably go put it over the other property. So I've got 4 that I run around the clock. They have been fantastic. I've had them for years. I finally had one that quit charging a few months ago. Got a new one in. All my other ones are still original, many years old. I've been more than pleased with them. Still using the Flexi Boom Sims, just doing the whole yearly plan. Never went over data. It's never not been enough. And what I can't brag enough about their Sims is you don't call nobody. You order them in. You don't have to do it. Nobody on the phone, no craziness. You don't have to explain trying to set up a camera and they're arguing with you. You literally just plug the SIM in. It takes about 20 seconds. The camera says it recognizes it. You're activated. You're good to go. I love that because I have dealt with cell phone companies and data companies enough. It's just a nightmare trying to explain to them. I'm not trying to activate a phone. Those cards are already set up to work with cameras. Highly recommend them. Casey, who was on, might still be on, he runs those Reolink cameras at his job sites. I got another friend that runs those cameras at his job sites to make sure stuff doesn't get stolen. I know a bunch of people that run them and they work very well. Reolink makes some good products. Total, I bet I have 9 to 11 Reolink cameras now. I think about it. I mean, obviously I trust them.
They work pretty good. I like them.
Yeah. I like the
that
app.
You can
like
do
everything.
The panoramic
Yes,
view.
I love the ones that look around.
Yeah.
So everything works good.
Mosquitoes are here.
Yes, they are. What animals are in your rivers? Any crocs? No. We don't have freshwater crocodiles here. We do have saltwater crocs in Florida, believe it or not, but it's not like the monsters you see over in Australia, and they're down central and south Florida. What we do have is a lot of alligators. So, in the same family there, so to speak. And there are alligators in that river. I know everybody gets nervous about Ruger swimming, but he's a water dog.
Can't stop him.
We can't stop him. Any lake, any river, any creek in Florida is gonna have gators, and it's just the way it is. You really have to be careful. We do watch him. We are nervous about it. We always make sure we're right there. We always go up and check the area out first. When he's been in too long or going too far, we make sure we get him out, but we do allow him to go down there and cool off. But alligators, yeah, we've done seen several down there in and around the property as well. Excuse me. No, I found it now. So Adam, you can see how far behind I am now. He says, "You missed Mr. Mike's donation, you jabberjaw." I do like the jabber. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, buddy. And yet we went back and found it.
Jabberjaw.
Yeah. Danny says, "Build a house up front and party deck by the river." That's exactly what will happen, Danny, if we have to.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Yep. And hint, I can't technically build a deck by the river, but I know ways around that. We'll have a really cool build. It'll cost me more money, but we'll have a really cool build if they wind up pushing me too far with all these rules and regulations. But we're gonna make sure that we get something down there. That was the whole point of getting the property, so we can make a really cool, awesome series and build and do fun projects. Otherwise, we couldn't justify it if we're not making the content. What do you think about dinner meetup maybe one day or in Thomasville area, says Brad. Man, everybody's on from Thomasville tonight. A possibility. What we've done thus far is meeting up at shows and things like that. But if there's enough requests for it, we could do a meetup. I think we could do a meetup. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. A lot of people ask why we don't do meetups here. It's because out of hundreds of thousands of people, there's 99.9% of the people we trust and are good people and love y'all. But when you do a meetup at your personal home or personal area, you just don't know who's going to show up. Let's just be perfectly honest. It's kind of just the world we live in now, and that would be a little uncomfortable. Meeting up out in a big public place like that, I think we could absolutely work something out like that in the future. We wouldn't have a problem doing that. It'd be no different than us going to some of the shows and meeting people. So that's something we could absolutely kick around. We'll catch one more. Yeah, the mosquitoes are here. They're probably tearing our food up. So we'll catch one more comment, and then I think we're going to start throwing stuff inside to get away from these mosquitoes. So why don't we use Reolink cameras in the tornado shelter? We absolutely could, and that's not a bad idea. I just would have to get a whole nother yearly plan to run that. Whereas out there now, what I run outside costs a few bucks. It's right there on the TV, and works on the mesh system that we have.
Put the food up there.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
You're going to have mosquitoes all in your gravy here. So that is something we kick around, but what we have out there is working, although it's a low quality camera, and I do need to change that out. All right. I'm saying bye. Are you going to say bye?
Yeah, I didn't know how much longer you were going to jibber-jaw.
As bad as these mosquitoes are, we're wrapping this thing up, y'all. So, y'all, we appreciate you so much. Thank y'all so much for spending your Sunday night with us. We're getting run off by the mosquitoes, but we've been yakking for an hour anyway. Or, excuse me, not we. I've been yakking for an hour anyways. So, appreciate all of y'all, again, spending your Sunday with us. So happy we're hearing some good news. Don't forget, y'all, there's still plenty of people that's received some very, very bad news here lately. So, reach out to the people that y'all know. Appreciate y'all being family and just friends, and being part of our family and meeting each other as well. All right, I'm out of here.
We're choking on
them.
Yeah,
we are. We'll see y'all next week. Good night.
Good night,
God
everybody.
bless. Y'all take care. See ya.